The real reason Baba Vanga said millions will vanish in 2025. What if I told you that a blind woman from a quiet village in Eastern Europe may have foreseen one of the greatest spiritual disappearances in human history? Not a war, not a plague, not an alien invasion, but something far stranger and much more silent. She called it the loss of those who carry the mark of stillness. And now, as we step into 2025, her prophecy is echoing louder than ever. Because here's the unsettling truth: millions may not vanish in fire or chaos. They may simply fade from memory, from purpose, from existence itself. And the most haunting part? You might already be one of them, and not even know it. Number 1. Baba Vanga and the weight of her prophecies. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like the world is shifting in ways we can't quite explain? Like something deeper is stirring beneath the surface of all the noise, technology, and chaos? You're not alone, and you're not imagining it. In the heart of Eastern Europe, long before the internet or social media could amplify her name, lived a blind mystic whose predictions would echo through generations. Baba Vanga. Though she lost her physical sight at a young age, she was said to have gained something far more extraordinary, a kind of inner vision that pierced through time itself. People came from all over the world to hear her speak. Why? Because she didn't just guess the future, she felt it. From the rise of ISIS to the tragedy of 9/11 and even the devastating 2004 tsunami, her words seemed to ripple through time, echoing in the moments she never lived to see. That kind of accuracy is hard to ignore, isn't it? But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Not all of Baba Vanga's visions were ever made public. Many believe that there are prophecies she whispered in private, recorded only in personal notes, or remembered by those closest to her. One message in particular has resurfaced recently, one that's sparking deep concern and reflection among spiritual thinkers and researchers alike. She once said, "The world shall lose those who carry the mark of stillness." At the time, this cryptic statement didn't make much sense. Most people brushed it off. Stillness? What does that even mean? They asked. But now, as we step into 2025, doesn't that phrase hit a little differently? What if Baba Vanga wasn't talking about literal stillness, but spiritual stillness, apathy, disconnection, the quiet dulling of the soul in a world that moves faster every day? Could she have been warning us about people who have lost touch with purpose, meaning, and inner growth? Those who've allowed their hearts to become numb, their minds distracted, and their lives automated. Think about it. Are you truly awake, or just going through the motions? Let's uncover what Baba Vanga really meant and, more importantly, what you can still do to make sure you're not among the forgotten. Number 2. Decoding the mark of stillness. Let's take a deeper look together at one of Baba Vanga's most mysterious and haunting messages, that wasn't broadcast publicly or captured in official transcripts, but quietly written down in the worn journals of those who cared for her in her final days. In those fading pages, a single sentence stands out like a whisper from another world. "The world shall lose those who carry the mark of stillness." At first, this phrase might sound poetic, maybe even beautiful in a strange way. But when you stop and really think about it, what does it mean to carry a mark of stillness? It's not about sitting quietly or finding peace. Baba Vanga wasn't warning us about meditation or rest. This kind of stillness, in the way her teachings and spiritual context suggest, refers to something far deeper and more troubling. It points to a spiritual standstill, a soul that has stopped growing, a person who has disconnected from the deeper rhythm of life. It's the kind of stillness where there's no curiosity left, no drive to improve, no willingness to change or reflect. It's the stillness of someone who's no longer trying to become more conscious, more compassionate, more awake. And according to the fragments uncovered from those final journal entries, 2025 isn't just another year, it's a kind of spiritual checkpoint, a turning point where the universe, or perhaps something larger than we can comprehend, begins to realign its energy and direction. Those who carry this mark won't make it past this threshold, but not through violence or death in the way we usually understand it. The prophecy suggests something even more eerie: they'll simply vanish, not just from the physical world, but from memory itself. Their names might disappear from records, their images fade from photos, even their digital traces lost as if the fabric of existence has rewritten itself and chosen to leave them out. Have you ever wondered what it really means to be forgotten, not just by people, but by life itself? This isn't about punishment. It's not some dramatic act of cosmic revenge. Instead, it feels more like a reset, a realignment, where the universe quietly lets go of what no longer fits its evolving design, like pruning a tree so new growth can flourish. Which brings us to the question that truly matters. Where do you stand in all of this? Are you growing? Are you engaged with your own evolution, asking hard questions, stretching your awareness, showing up for your life and for others with presence and purpose? Or have you unknowingly stepped into the kind of spiritual stillness that Baba Vanga warned us about, the kind that leads not to peace, but to quiet erasure? This is a moment that invites honesty, not fear. A moment to look inward and ask, am I aligned with the direction life is trying to move me in? Because here's the truth: awakening is always a choice. You're never too far gone to return to the flow, to reignite your path, to begin again. The lesson here isn't about fear of disappearance, it's about the responsibility of presence, the value in staying spiritually alive, even when it's hard, the importance of growing, even when it's uncomfortable, and most of all, the reminder that your life has meaning as long as you stay connected to its deeper purpose. So the real question is this: what step can you take today to keep your soul in motion? Number 3. Connection to ancient spiritual traditions. To truly understand the depth of Baba Vanga's mysterious warning that millions will vanish and that the world will lose those who carry the mark of stillness, we need to go far beyond modern ideas of prophecy and instead explore the ancient spiritual traditions that have long guided humanity's view of change, time, and evolution. When Baba Vanga spoke of stillness, it wasn't about peace or meditation. It was about spiritual stagnation, the kind that disconnects a soul from growth, from awareness, from life's deeper rhythm. And this concept doesn't exist in isolation. In fact, it echoes powerfully through ancient Hindu and Buddhist teachings, especially in how they describe the universe's grand cycles. In Hindu cosmology, for example, time is seen as a wheel that turns through vast cosmic ages called yugas. Right now, according to the ancient texts, we're living through the final moments of Kali Yuga, their darkest era, filled with spiritual confusion, disconnection from our purpose, and a deep loss of inner truth. But here's what's fascinating. Even in the midst of this darkness, ancient seers believed that the end of Kali Yuga wouldn't be the end of everything. Instead, it would spark a great transition into Satya Yuga, the age of truth, clarity, and spiritual renewal. But not everyone, they said, would make that leap. Only those who were attuned to the higher vibration of the earth, who had begun to awaken spiritually, would be carried forward. Others, those stuck in fear, ignorance, or apathy, would fall away, not as punishment, but as part of a natural cosmic cleansing. Do you see the connection? Baba Vanga's prophecy about millions vanishing lines up almost perfectly with this ancient vision. In that light, the mark of stillness isn't a physical mark, it's a kind of spiritual inertia. And according to both Hindu and Buddhist teachings, when life reaches a moment of spiritual evolution, those who resist that growth can't be part of what comes next. Buddhism also speaks clearly about this. In its view of karma and rebirth, the soul's journey is shaped by its ability to learn, evolve, and let go. Souls that remain bound by unawareness, that resist truth or cling to their attachments, may simply stop progressing. They aren't destroyed, they just can't keep moving forward in the great cycle of awakening. Baba Vanga may not have used the same terms, but her meaning is startlingly similar. Her recovered metaphor says it all: the branches that no longer bear fruit shall be severed from the tree of mankind. It's a powerful image, and it suggests that some soul lineages' entire currents of human consciousness may come to a natural end because they no longer serve the unfolding of human evolution. So, what seems at first like a scary prophecy may actually be a sacred reminder. The universe, like a living being, must prune what no longer contributes to its growth. And you, right, have a choice. Will you stay connected to your own growth, your own awareness, your sense of purpose? Or will you drift into that spiritual stillness that leads not to peace, but to fading away? The lesson here is clear. The universe is moving forward, with or without us. The question is, are you willing to move with it? If you've watched this far, you're already seeking the truth behind Baba Vanga's chilling prediction for 2025. Comment below with "awakened mind" to show you're ready to explore the deeper meaning behind her warning. Don't click away, there's more insight coming that could change how you see the future. Stay with us to uncover what may really lie ahead. Number 4. The phenomenon of disappearances and emerging signs. As Baba Vanga's mysterious prophecy about millions vanishing in 2025 begins to stir renewed curiosity, it's not just her words that are capturing attention, it's the strange events that seem to mirror her warning, unfolding quietly and inexplicably in the background of everyday life. These are not wild tales from the fringes of society or the stuff of conspiracy forums, but consistent, puzzling patterns that have begun surfacing across different parts of the world, patterns that appear to defy logic, reason, and even the laws of how we understand memory and human presence. In recent years, there have been numerous reports of people whose existence seems to have quietly unraveled, not through traditional means like death or disappearance, but in a far more disconcerting way. Medical records of individuals are being reported missing without explanation, entire family trees ending abruptly with no genealogical trace, and what is perhaps most baffling, digital footprints of once active individuals vanishing without a single clue. Social media accounts, once filled with photos, comments, and personal memories, are suddenly gone. Search engines and public databases show no record of their name or history, and in more personal accounts, loved ones have expressed a strange sense that a person has not just disappeared, but never existed in the first place. Some families have even shared that old photographs have changed, spaces where someone once stood are now mysteriously empty. Friends no longer recall shared memories. And this isn't followed by grief or even an investigation, it's simply marked by a haunting silence, like the absence itself is being quietly accepted, or worse, forgotten. This growing body of eerie, silent disappearances has led spiritual researchers, mystics, and even some open-minded scientists to propose a bold hypothesis. We might be witnessing the beginning of what they call a cosmic audit. In this view, the universe isn't static, it's alive, intelligent, and constantly evolving. Just like the body sheds what no longer serves it, or an ecosystem purges imbalance to thrive, reality itself may be rebalancing, subtly removing those who no longer align with the energetic shift humanity is entering. This is where Baba Vanga's cryptic phrase, "the mark of stillness," takes on chilling clarity. She may have been pointing not to people who are physically still, but but to those who are spiritually stagnant, those who've disconnected from purpose, growth, and the inner call toward awareness and transformation. In the context of this cosmic recalibration, their removal is not a punishment, but a quiet process of energetic alignment. It's as if the very fabric of existence is streamlining itself, preparing for a new chapter, and letting go of what cannot carry forward into the next stage of human consciousness. While these ideas can sound unsettling at first, they may also hold a deeper invitation, not to fear, but to reflect. If these disappearances are real and, if they truly echo what Baba Vanga foresaw them, perhaps they are urging us to reconnect, to grow, to awaken. Because this isn't just about missing people or strange events, it's about a shift that is happening right now, in the background of our lives, in our energy, our awareness, and our memory. So the real question becomes not, is this true, but rather, are you awake enough to notice what's happening? And more importantly, are you aligned with the direction life is moving before the silence reaches you too? Number 5. Scientific and astrological perspectives. While many people have long dismissed Baba Vanga's prophecies as little more than mystical folklore, an increasing number of curious overlaps between her predictions and modern developments in both science and astrology are causing even skeptics to take a second look, because what once seemed purely metaphysical may now be echoed in real, observable changes unfolding around us. Let's begin with science, where geneticists have recently documented a set of strange anomalies that don't quite fit into our current understanding of human heredity. In particular, some researchers have identified individuals whose genetic markers appear to end abruptly, almost as if their biological thread has been cut off from the fabric of ancestry. These aren't just cases of poor record-keeping or unusual mutations. In several instances, there are no explainable links to family history, nothing to tie these people to previous generations in the genetic map. While mainstream biology isn't quick to embrace spiritual interpretations, some forward-thinking scientists and researchers are starting to ask whether these anomalies might represent something more profound, a kind of metaphysical signal, a quiet exit from the chain of collective evolution for those no longer spiritually aligned with the human journey. Now, if we shift our gaze from the microscopic to the cosmic, astrologers are watching the skies with equal concern and curiosity, particularly in anticipation of a rare planetary alignment set to occur in 2025 involving Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune 3, celestial bodies known in astrology for governing karma, change, and spiritual awareness. When these planets converge in one calendar year, esoteric traditions see it not just as a symbolic alignment, but as a real energetic window where the structures of time, truth, and consciousness may dramatically shift. Saturn's influence brings karmic accountability and the consequences of past actions. Uranus sparks revolutionary change, awakening us to higher truths, and Neptune rules the spiritual plane, the unseen, the intuitive, and sometimes the illusory. Their combined presence is believed to thin the veil between dimensions, revealing what has been hidden and removing what no longer serves. When you place this rare astrological moment beside Baba Vanga's timeline of a great vanishing, it becomes harder to ignore the possibility that her visions were somehow in sync with these greater cosmic patterns. And then there's the Earth itself, quietly pulsing with its own clues. The Schumann resonance, Earth's natural electromagnetic frequency, has historically remained stable, but in the last year, scientists have observed unusual and erratic spikes that are difficult to explain. While some attribute these to solar activity or atmospheric disturbances, others, particularly those in the fields of energy, medicine, and spiritual healing, believe these frequency fluctuations signal a global energetic shift. According to these views, the planet is essentially raising its vibration, and those who cannot adapt or align with this rising frequency may begin to feel out of place, disconnected, or in more esoteric interpretations, begin to phase out of resonance entirely. When considered together, these threads from biological anomalies to planetary alignments to shifts in Earth's frequency form an intricate web that seems to support the idea that Baba Vanga's message was not an isolated mystical statement, but a glimpse into a much larger, multi-dimensional transformation. Her prophecy of millions vanishing may not be about sudden mass death or disappearance as we know it, but about a gradual spiritual transition, a recalibration that leaves behind those who remain spiritually stagnant, while welcoming forward those ready to evolve. So, the question we are left with is not whether the prophecy is coming true in a dramatic or supernatural way, but whether we are sensitive enough to recognize the subtle signs all around us that something larger is indeed unfolding, and whether we are prepared, in body, mind, and spirit, to keep moving with that transformation. What do you need to do right now? You feel it, don't you? That strange weight pressing on your chest, subtle but constant. It shows up in the quiet moments, when the scrolling stops, when the world goes still. It's there in the tired eyes of strangers, in conversations that feel a little emptier, in a growing sense that something real is shifting beneath the surface. And maybe you've started to ask yourself, what is this feeling? Why now? What's coming? Baba Vanga's prophecy wasn't made for headlines or fear-mongering. It wasn't designed to entertain. It was a warning. But more importantly, it was a wake-up call. Her vision of the mark of stillness isn't about disaster. It's about choice. A soul-level decision that each of us has to make, stay awake or slowly fade, because we're not standing at just any turning point. This isn't about politics, pandemics, or planet-wide panic. This is a spiritual threshold. 2025 isn't just a year on the calendar. For many, it's a reckoning, a checkpoint, a moment when the universe leans in and quietly asks, are you ready to evolve here? Are you already starting to disappear? See, when true transformation comes, it doesn't always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it whispers, and only those who are listening, really listening, will hear it. So the real question isn't, what will happen in 2025? It's this: will you be aligned or erased, presenter forgotten, awaker absent from your own life? If that question stirs something in you, good, because the time to act isn't later. It's not when you feel more motivated or more prepared. It's now, right now. Number 1. Reconnect with your purpose. In a world that's constantly pulling our attention in 1,000 different directions, it's no wonder many of us feel lost or disconnected. The distractions of modern life, phones, obligations, endless scrolling can smother our inner flame until we forget why we're even here. But deep down, the soul still whispers, waiting to be heard. To reconnect with your purpose is to pause and ask the questions we often avoid. Why am I here? What have I neglected in myself? What truth am I afraid to face? It's not about being lazy or doing nothing. It's about choosing stillness so we can listen. As the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh wisely said, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. Purpose begins in silence when you quiet the noise and feel what you've ignored. That mark of stillness that people mistake for laziness is actually an invitation not to drift, but to dive deeper. If you felt numb, distant, or unsure, it doesn't mean you failed, it means you're human, and it's time to awaken. Even a single spark of passion or curiosity can be enough to relight the path forward. The great Buddhist teacher Shantideva once said, "If the problem can be solved, why worry? If the problem cannot be solved, worrying will do you no good." In the same way, Reconnecting with your purpose isn't about having all the answers. It's about choosing not to ignore the questions any longer. Modern life will always offer more reasons to avoid this journey, but the deeper fulfillment comes not from what we do for others' approval, but from what we do because it feels right, because it aligns with who we truly are. Let this be the year you ask yourself honestly, what did I once love? What gives me meaning now? It might be something as small as gardening, helping others, writing, or sitting in nature, but that small light can guide you through the darkest confusion. And once you touch that deeper intention again, life begins to make sense. You see clearer, walk lighter, and worry less about the world's expectations. Reconnecting with your purpose doesn't happen in one grand epiphany. It's a quiet decision repeated each day, a gentle turning toward what truly matters. So take time each morning, even for 5 minutes, to breathe, reflect, and ask your heart, what would make today meaningful? Remember, as the Buddha said, your work is to discover your work and then, with all your heart, to give yourself to it. This isn't just spiritual advice, it's deeply practical. People between 30 and 65 often face life's crossroads, aging parents, lost dreams, new responsibilities. But it's never too late to come home to yourself. And the world desperately needs people who have come alive. Don't underestimate the power of one person, awake and aligned. Start with presence, with honesty, and with a willingness to try again. That is where purpose lives, not in perfection, but in persistence and in the quiet courage to be real. If this message touched something in you, even just a little comment, I'm ready to reconnect below. You don't need to explain. You don't need to overthink. Just write those words as a small but powerful step toward coming back to yourself. Number 2. Take spiritual responsibility. Have you ever paused long enough to ask yourself, who is steering the wheel of my life? In the rush of daily tasks, constant scrolling, and simply trying to survive each day, many of us forget that our soul is not something that runs on autopilot. You are not a machine. You are not meant to simply wake up, go through the motions, and fall back asleep, only to repeat the cycle again. You were meant to evolve spiritually, emotionally, and consciously. Taking spiritual responsibility means becoming aware that you are the one who must choose to wake up. No one else can do that for you. And this awakening doesn't always require something dramatic. It starts with small, intentional steps that bring you back to yourself. Whether it's sitting quietly in meditation, writing your thoughts down in a journal, praying in your own way, or simply walking in nature and paying attention to the trees and the wind, these aren't just rituals, they're pathways back to awareness. What practice helps you slow down and notice what really matters? What brings you into the present moment, where your real power lies? Baba Vanga's warning that millions will vanish in 2025 isn't necessarily about physical disappearance. It could be a spiritual one, a vanishing of awareness, a loss of connection with the deeper self. Could it be that what she foresaw was a world so consumed by technology, fear, and distraction that we lose sight of who we are? And if so, are you willing to be among the few who stay awake? As the Buddha once said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Taking spiritual responsibility means no longer waiting for someone else to give you the answers. It means showing up to your own life with presence. Yes, there will be pain, there will be questions, but there will also be moments of peace, clarity, and deep joy that only come when you are fully here, fully alive. So what does it look like for you to reconnect with your inner world? What's one small action you can take today to return to your center? The truth is, our souls need nourishment just as much as our bodies. If we neglect that, we risk becoming spiritually hollow alive, but not truly living. Every act of mindfulness, every time you pause and reflect, every moment you choose to respond instead of react, you take back your power. And in a time where millions might vanish into fear, into confusion, into unconscious living, you can choose to rise. You can choose to remember who you are. The lesson is simple yet powerful. Spiritual growth is not a luxury, it's a responsibility, one that only you can accept. Because when you take spiritual responsibility, you don't just change your own life, you become a light for others. So take the step, start the practice, ask the deeper questions, and trust that even the smallest step taken with intention can open the door to transformation. Number 3. Let go of what no longer grows you. Let go of what no longer grows you. This message might sound simple at first, but it carries deep truth, especially in times of great change, like the one Baba Vanga hinted at when she warned that millions could vanish in 2025. You see, it's not just about people disappearing physically. It might also be about a spiritual vanishing, a loss of self, a fading of purpose, a silent surrender to the weight of what no longer serves us. And that's why I want to talk to you today, heart to heart. Look closely at your life. Are there relationships that drain your energy instead of feeding your spirit? Are you holding on to habits that comfort you on the surface but slowly disconnect you from who you truly are? Are your thoughts filled with fear, doubt, or constant judgment? All of these things, when they no longer help you grow, become like anchors. And while anchors are meant to keep ships from drifting away, when we're trying to rise, to transform, to become more conscious, those same anchors start pulling us under. What are the anchors in your life right now? And are they helping you stay steadier? Are they drowning your light? There's a Buddhist teaching that says, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. Think about that. Growth isn't something we do, once it's something we choose repeatedly. Letting go isn't a loss, it's a renewal. But why is it so hard to release what's familiar, even when it hurts us? Because it gives us identity. It gives us predictability. Even pain can feel like comfort when we've grown used to it. Yet, staying stuck in what no longer helps us evolve means we quietly die while still alive. And maybe that is what Baba Vanga was really warning us about, a vanishing not just of bodies, but of souls who never awakened. So I ask you now, what have you outgrown but are still clinging to? What have you known for a long time needs to end, but you keep telling yourself, maybe later? Is there something or someone in your life that once helped you but now holds you back? True transformation, real spiritual evolution, requires bravery. It requires us to walk away from things we once called home and face the unknown with an open heart. It's scary, yes, but as the Zen proverb goes, let go or be dragged. You weren't meant to stay in the same place forever. Life changes. You change. And to hold on to what's already expired is to resist the flow of the universe itself. If it no longer nurtures you, if it numbs your spirit or blocks your growth, then it is no longer your path. Don't let fear convince you otherwise. When you release what no longer serves you, you make space for what will. You make space for clarity, for healing, for purpose, for peace. So today, in this season of transformation, dare to loosen your grip. Dare to trust that your soul knows the way. And remember, letting go is not the end, it is often the very beginning of becoming who you were always meant to be. Number 4. Choose presence over distraction. In a world where constant noise surrounds us, from buzzing phones to breaking news alerts and the unending scroll of social media, it's easy to feel like life is happening to us rather than through us. But I want to speak directly to you today, especially if you're in the season of life between 30 and 65, because you've seen enough of the world to know that something isn't right when your days feel like they're slipping by in a blur of distraction. Baba Vanga's message that millions will vanish in 2025 may not only point to a physical event, may also serve as a deeper metaphor, a warning of mass spiritual disappearance. Could it be that what's vanishing is our awareness, our connection to self, our ability to be present in the now? The distractions we think are harmless, binging, scrolling, reacting, may be robbing us of the very thing that makes life meaningful: presence. When's the last time you sat in silence and simply felt not what someone else told you to feel, but your own truth beneath the noise? The Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This is not just spiritual advice, it is a life-saving practice. The modern world is designed to sedate the soul. We are trained to be endlessly busy, to chase more, to stay plugged in, and to believe that stillness equals laziness. But what if stillness is actually where your soul speaks? What if presents true, grounded awareness is the doorway to healing, clarity, and peace? The urgency we feel every day is often manufactured by systems that profit from our stress. The more distracted we are, the less likely we are to ask, what really matters to me? So pause, feel, reflect. These aren't luxury practices, they are necessities. They are the steps back to remembering who you were before the world taught you to forget, before fear, pressure, and comparison started shaping your choices. What would happen if you started your day not with emails or notifications, but with a breath, a moment of gratitude, or a single honest thought? Choosing presence is a radical act in a distracted world. It doesn't mean giving up technology or living in isolation. It means reclaiming your mind and your moments. When you're present, you actually see your loved ones. You taste your food. You listen with your heart. And most importantly, you reconnect with yourself. Because presence is not just awareness, it is intimacy with life. The Dalai Lama once said, "We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves." That peace begins with presence. If you've been feeling numb, anxious, or like time is flying without meaning, this is your call to slow down and choose differently. Life is not found in the noise, it's found in the stillness between it. So ask yourself gently but honestly, where have I been distracted from what matters most? And what would it take for me to come back to presence right here, right now? The truth is, you don't have to escape the world to wake up, you simply have to stop running from yourself. Presence is where the soul returns home. If you've made it this far, take a deep breath and, if something in you feels ready to slow down and be more present, simply comment, "I choose presence" below. No need to explain. Just those 3 words can be the first quiet step back to yourself. Number 5. Align your life with truth. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and pressure to fit in, many of us have drifted into living by convenience, comfort, or what the crowd agrees on, not truth. But let me ask you directly, are you living in alignment with your truth, or are you just going along with what's easiest or most accepted? Baba Vanga's message that millions will vanish in 2025 may sound mysterious or even frightening, but it could also be a call to wake up before it's too late, not just physically, but spiritually and morally. Truth is not always comfortable, it's not always popular, but it is always freeing. When you begin to align with what's real for you, even if it goes against the grain, something within you settles, because truth grounds the soul. The Buddhist monk Ajahn Chah once said, "If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will know complete peace." Letting go of falsehoods is the beginning of inner peace, and truth is what leads you there. Speaking of truth, let me share a short story about a man named Harold from Ohio. He was in his 50s, going through a rough patch, lost his job, marriage on the rocks, feeling directionless. One day, while listening to a podcast, he heard about the spiritual power of numbers and the idea that lucky numbers aren't just superstition, but can be reminders of alignment. He remembered the number 1111, a number he always used to notice as a kid and feel a strange sense of comfort from. He decided to commit to living by that number, not in a magical way, but as a sign to pause and act only when something felt true. Whenever he saw 1111, he would check in with himself. Am I being honest right now? Am I aligned with what really matters to me? Within months, Harold turned things around, not through luck, but by using truth as his compass. He reconnected with his wife, started a new trade, and began helping young men in his community find work. The number simply reminded him to stop betraying his own truth. So now I ask you, what are you pretending not to know? Where in your life have you traded truth for convenience or approval? The truth is often inconvenient. It may shake relationships, disrupt routines, or challenge identities. But it's also the path to peace, clarity, and real power. The universe doesn't demand that you be perfect. It simply asks that you be honest. Aligning with truth means living a life where your words match your values, your actions match your beliefs, and your inner world is no longer at war with the mask you show the world. So speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. Seek the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Surrender to the truth, even when it asks you to change. The Buddha reminded us, 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. No matter how far you've drifted, no matter how long you've worn a mask, it's never too late to return to what is real. The lesson here is clear. Truth doesn't just guide your path, it is the path. And once you walk in truth, life begins to feel less like survival and more like freedom. So as we stand on the edge of 2025, Baba Vanga's message isn't just a prophecy, it's a reflection of where we are and a question for where we're headed. Will you choose awareness over apathy, growth over stagnation, presence over distraction? Because in a world where millions may vanish, not through force, but through forgetting who they truly are, your choice to stay awake, to stay connected, becomes an act of courage and of meaning. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this video stirred something in you, please support The Journey of Wisdom by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming reflections. Until next time, stay present, stay grounded, and keep walking the journey of wisdom.